Hi, it's Chef Rick, and today I'm making spaghetti carbonara. So we're going to start with this lovely pancetta. I got this sliced from the butcher's. I wouldn't have minded a couple of bits of it sliced and some of it as cubes, but it doesn't matter whether you get it as cubes or sliced. This first bit is all for decoration. I've just put a few slices of the pancetta under the grill. Just turning those over. I just want these to get nice and crispy. This is for decoration only, so this bit don't worry too much about unless you want to really make it look exactly as the finished product. But in the end we're going to end up with these like nice crunchy bacon strips. Lovely and crunchy. Make more than you're going to need because you're going to want to pop one in your mouth at this stage. We're going to poach some eggs in this one, and this is a slightly different technique because we poach egg in so many videos. So I'll show you a nice technique. So we add malt vinegar to the water. We very carefully lower the egg in, just like in all the other videos you've seen. Give it a second before you lower the next egg in, because when you've stuck that ramekin in the water, you've lowered the temperature ever so slightly. Although if you see those nice little bubbles forming on the bottom of the pan on the right, that shows we're probably looking about the perfect temperature for a poached egg. So as carefully as you can lower the next one in. That's a nice one, that you can see it's all stayed together nicely. Poach these eggs until they are nearly done, and I'll show you what nearly done means, and obviously I'll talk you through it properly, and you'll see why I said that. So leave them for just a second like that in the water. Let them find themselves before you do anything. And in a moment I'm going to put in a slotted spoon and just make sure that they haven't stuck to the bottom of the pan. If you try and move them as soon as you've put them in, they're going to just kind of break apart and go everywhere. So let them form ever so slightly before you start moving them. You see now as I'm moving them, they're kind of keeping together nicely. I splash some of that hot water over the top, and these are poached eggs which are now cooking away. So these have been cooking for maybe 2 minutes, and I'm taking them off the heat. They are just underdone, and I lower them into iced water. You can tell whether a poached egg is done, like we always say in the previous videos. If you wobble them and the yolk wobbles but the white doesn't, then they're done. If you wobble them and the white's wobbling as well, then they're not going to be great. But so these ones were just on the verge of being perfect, and before they were done, I put them in the iced water to stop them cooking, and then you can put them in a fridge and then leave them in the fridge for as long as you want until you need them again. Now onto the carbonara. So we're going to take that pancetta and slice it. If you've got pancetta cubes, and that's absolutely fine as well. Ideally you want smoked pancetta, but if you don't like that smoked flavour, then just use a normal pancetta. You could also use bacon as well at this point. Into the pan goes some oil, not much oil because pancetta releases a lot of fat, so it's going to produce its own oil, and some crushed garlic cloves. That was like 3 garlic cloves that I just crushed with the I said the back of my hand. It wasn't the back of my hand, it's like my fist, ball of my hand, whatever. I crushed them, and it's on a low heat. So you just want now the fat to start rendering down, to start breaking down in that pancetta. You can tell that you've got the right temperature because your garlic won't burn. And what you're trying to do here is that garlic's going to come out of this when we actually serve it. But you want the garlic to kind of go into the oil, into the pancetta. That's why you want a nice low heat. Take your time with this bit. No point rushing it. And like I say, you're going to get loads of garlic flavour in there, which is great. Here we go. So now we're getting to the point where, it's all nice and cooked. It's all crisping up nicely. So I'm just going to remove those garlic cloves, break those up, spread them on a piece of toast. Do whatever you want with them. Don't throw them away. But that's lovely garlic there that just we no longer need, because this pancetta is lovely and crispy. It's been imparted with garlic flavour. Yeah, great. So that's what you want it to look like. That's lovely. And then you move that pan off the heat. So we're going to prep the ingredients here. So the first thing is we've got some Parmesan cheese, which we're going to grate on the finest of the grated settings. And then I always like to rub it again just a little bit more, just so it breaks it up a tiny bit more into pieces. But that's the type of cheese that we're going to be using here. We're going to separate some eggs. As usual, you separate them over the bowl that you're happy for the whites to go into. We don't need the whites in this recipe, just the yolks. but that's the perfect way to separate your eggs. With these yolks, you'll see how they come out in a minute. 2 are one colour and 2 are the other colour, but they all came from the same chicken. So you tell me what's going on there. I have no idea. Look at that. So there you go. So there's 4 egg yolks. To those egg yolks, we're just going to add some of the grated parmesan. And mix that together with a fork to form almost like a, I don't know, you'd call it, it's like a paste. You couldn't call it a sauce, it's way too thick. Not all of the parmesan, of course. Leave some for decoration, and leave more, as with any ingredient, leave anything on the side, because you can always add more, you can't take any out. So there you go, that's parmesan and egg yolk. Cook your spaghetti in a pan of salted water. When I'm doing it like this, if the pan's not ginormous and you've got to work the spaghetti into it, just control it. You can feel there how it's starting to bend and wilt already, the bit that's in the hot water. Just keep slowly, just putting a bit of pressure on it. Because you want to almost get to the point where you can walk away and do other things, but at this stage you don't really want to be walking away when you got half your spaghetti sticking out the pan. Whilst I'm doing this, whilst I'm messing around, you know what I'm going to ask. If you like my videos, please hit like. If you don't like them, that's no problem at all. If you're not subscribed to me, if you hit the subscribe button at the bottom, I really appreciate it. It's free for you, but it's really good for me. I do 3 of these videos a week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Thank you in advance if you choose to do that. You see now the spaghetti's in the pan, so we can almost relax a little bit. We don't need to worry too much about that now. So the spaghetti's been cooking for about 10 to 12 minutes. Just keep moving it around, making sure none sticking to the edges. Take a piece out to test it. Lots of ways to test spaghetti. They say you can throw it against a wall, and if it sticks, it's done. I would just normally pop a bit in my mouth, or as you can see here, if you just pull it apart, and if it snaps really nicely, then you've got well cooked spaghetti. Drain it over the sink, but then as soon as you've drained it, put the pan underneath and capture that water. Because pasta water like that is it's like salty water that's got the pasta flavour in it. That is an ingredient. That's like one of the key ingredients in all pasta sauce dishes. So always keep that water. To the pan that's got our crispy pancetta, garlic infused pancetta in the pan. Add the spaghetti bit by bit, as many portions as you're going to do. So I know I'm doing kind of 2 portions here, so I'll add as much spaghetti as I need for those two portions. Make sure it's all mixed in. The oils in the pan, the pancetta oils, all that garlic, everything is going to infuse and go into the spaghetti and impart flavour into it. So you want to, at this stage, kind of toss it all around a little bit. Make sure that you've got it all mixed together. Look at that. That on its own, you could probably eat, it'd be absolutely delicious, but we're going to take it to the next level, of course, by turn it into a carbonara. Carbonara, the pan cannot be too hot at this stage. You want to add the egg and parmesan mixture. If the pan is too hot, you are simply going to make scrambled eggs, and that's the last thing you want to do. A little bit of the spaghetti water in there, and just mix it round. And you just watch how creamy and silky this goes. Now, some people put cream in it at this point to avoid the egg sticking. And then you get all these snobs. Oh, you cannot add cream. Oh, it's not a carbonara. If you want to add cream, I've had carbonaras with cream. They're absolutely gorgeous. You do what works for you. Well, this is just how I make a spaghetti carbonara. This is a very, very, very classic way to make it. Yeah, of course, I think it's the best way. Otherwise, I'd have done a video with cream in it. But yeah, don't let anyone tell you that adding cream is in some way wrong. If you want to add cream, you add cream. But you see now, that pan is hot, but because I've been adding the water at the same time and I'm mixing it around, the egg's not having a chance to catch and cook. You see, I've turned the heat off. So now I'm still working on the residual heat coming off the stove, and it's staying lovely and silky. And I mean, look at it. That egg's not caught, there's no scrambled egg in there yet. You've got a beautiful creamy sauce. Just keep mixing that around. Keep working it. You can always add more water if you need to. Yeah, but that's a really silky, creamy carbonara. Very, very, very old school, very classic. That's pretty much ready to go. The poached eggs that we had in the fridge, we're going to put a pan on in a moment. Oh, there you go. See, I'm just adding a bit more water. So you can tell, taste it as well at this point. You're probably not going to need any seasoning because you know, there's salt in the cheese, there's salt in the pancetta, there's salt in the water that's been added to it. We are going to add pepper at the end, of course. Right, so that's pretty much done. A pan of salted water. Take your eggs out of the fridge, out of there. They've been kept in water in the fridge, and drop them in there for 20 seconds. This is what restaurants do, by the way. In a restaurant, you have loads of poached eggs in the back, and then just plate up like this. So plate your carbonara. Clean the plate, of course. Take one of your poached eggs out of the hot water. Rest it on the top. Nice little bit of black pepper over the top of the egg. 2 lovely pieces of crunchy pancetta. Sprinklings of parmesan all around the plate. Come on, look at it. And that's it, that's the spaghetti carbonara. Serve that to your guests, they'll be absolutely delighted, they'll be over the moon. It's absolutely beautiful, it's just smooth, perfect. Look at this, we're going to pop the egg. Bosh. There you go, spaghetti carbonara. Yeah, of course I would normally be doing this with a fork and a spoon and looking all trendy and Italian, but I cut the eggs with a knife, so I had a knife in my hand, so what are you going to do? That's it, spaghetti carbonara. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you on the next one.